Good evening. Hope your weekend was pretty good. We had not a bunch, we had a good amount of snow, and that was pretty good for me. Today, I couldn't think of anything else that I really wanted to play on stream, and so I'm going to play some Valheim. I haven't played in a hot minute, and so I futzed around for a few hours earlier today, so I'm not just walking blindly in the dark. But we're going to start off with a house tour that I was considering turning into a short, and maybe after this stream I will turn segments of the stream into shorts. It's not something I'm going to promise, though. I have 3 worlds that I've played a good amount on, and so we're going to go house or world by world and look at the different things that I've built that I'm proud of. And then we'll spend 2 hours just messing around in Valheim. Because I have a couple of things that I need to get done to get ready to keep playing in one of the worlds. So this is the first world I ever built. I don't know if I have the map. I don't. So that tree, I remember coming over the hill here and seeing that oak tree and thinking, yep, this is where I'm going to build my house. So that was the most recent addition. That's my boar pen. So we'll start going in. Start out with just this room. I was, again, very pleased with this build. All of my cooking stuff is scattered around. This was just from the original early access launch, so there are no iron chests, there are no black metal chests. It was very poorly optimized. This little secret room is where I hid all of my good food. As my friends kept stealing it when I was playing with them. And then this is my crafting room. Everything is organized by monster type, with little freaking trophies to organize things, item holders. But I again was very pleased with how this looked. This is my little mud room where all my potions and spare gear was. This is for corpse runs when you died and had to go back and get your stuff. Pleased with this little dining room area before the era of being able to place feasts, so I haven't done too much with that. This was the loft where you can see all of the different character names that people have played with. I thought there was someone who had a goofy, stupid, offensive name, but guess not. This is my room. Yeah, just thought it was quaint, thought it was nice. And then out here, we have what I call tree bowling, where if you ever need wood, you chop down the trees at the top of the hill, they roll down and start chopping down the trees at the bottom of the hill. My garden vegetable patch is over here. I have this tower that I liked that oh, that's disgusting. Ooh, that bites. And this world is not modified to less punishing death. So I've lost a bunch of my skills. Ooh, that really hurts. I usually sit at 100 run. Just because I very, very rarely die at this point in the game. Man, my farming, though. That's absolutely tragic. Anyway, this is the home base area. I should have eaten food. I thought about eating food, and I didn't. Ooh, that's going to sting for a few days. But it's okay. I like seeing numbers go up. I like seeing numbers go up. I'll keep telling myself that I like seeing numbers go up. Put my armor back on. And yeah, we'll eat my food. yeah, I built this tower, imagining, hey, it'd be cool if I had this dramatic connection between bases where I would build one as best as I could lined up on the map horizontally. And then I realized that I never wanted to climb this ladder or this tower every time I wanted to use a portal. So these are my portal rooms. I started out with just the wood one when I didn't have as many portals. And then I built this little church for the expanded portal room. I think this is the direction to the other base. I haven't played on this world in a long time. I've started over too many times. Yeah, I this one, I loved the idea for this one of building a house on a hill, like into a hill. It didn't work out nearly as well in practice as I would have liked, but this, again, I don't have a map table, but there's a plains right up here, and this is where I built my wheat farm and Locke's farm. So here's crafting on one side, and then the cooking iron chests here. Maybe there were iron chests, and I just built this as my base before I needed to. Oh yeah, back when barley only stacked to 20. Man, the good old days. I'm a hoarder in this game. I will gather and gather and gather and never stop gathering, and so I'll always have an abundance of stuff. Anyway, we got blast furnace and then normal furnaces. I do have a map table. Okay. Yeah. So this is I explored, just sailed around a lot. This was Mistlands pre-actual Mistlands update. So potentially, I don't know if they've changed it, but potentially you can go back there and have it just be spiderweb covered forests. Yeah, that's my main base, and then this is the standing stones, and I mark as many, like blueberries, they didn't grow in as many patches originally, and so I'd mark as many as I could and then have a path that I could run through to get as many blueberries as I could possibly want. And then this goes to the farm, which we can just check out real quick. Yeah, very, very functional, because I just got sick of luxes and or fullings beating my stuff up. Yeah, this was my first ever world for Valheim. Played on my dinky laptop that my parents got me for college when I started in the late 2010s. It did not run very well, but it ran just well enough that I could play, and I played so much. I think I have like 400 hours in Valheim overall. I guess we can go into the boar pen. My solitary 2-star boar, because this was a last kind of thing before I stopped playing for a time. I believe I was moving and as well had gotten to the plains and reached the end of the game as such for early access. I guess I have a little forge back here. This is where I actually can repair my hammer. Yeah. Overall, like, I have a lot of nostalgia, particularly for this room. I think it's great. It makes me happy, and I think about this house a lot when I am designing new houses and thinking about how I want to structure things. Okay. Second base, less cool overall. I didn't last as long playing this one. I'm pretty sure I only have the one base here that I built out not too well. No, never mind. I have two bases here. This is the really cool base. This was the furthest I got with my sister, where we tapped out because the Mistlands were stupid and hard. So this is the same mudroom concept. This is the portal up away. This is wherever my boat currently is on the world. That the portal I build is up away. So it's probably right here, because I was doing more iron hunts. Yeah, this one, the concept was trying to do a wood tower and a stone tower and connect the two. So we'll go get the dramatic distance shot, semi-distanced shot. My poor jump. I did, one of the shorts on my channel is a tour of this house, so you may have already seen this one if you watch my content consistently. But you have the stone tower on the left, the wood tower on the right. It took me so long and so much stone to raise the ground to be flat and level for everything here. It was a pain. It was an ordeal. The stone tower is the least. I didn't have a good use for this space. I was like, oh, maybe portals, oh, maybe whatever, but then I don't need that many portals on this world. So it's kind of just what it is, and then I have a couple of decorations, and it's nice. Up here I have the council room, quote unquote, dramatic throne at the top for me. The stone ones, I'm pretty pleased because you can't build these except on stone flooring, and so the pillars that hold up this whole endeavor are where they're secretly hiding, with scare quotes. We have our chicken farm here, which also helps provide a little bit of rested. Up at the top, I liked the aesthetic of having the cartography room being slightly exposed, and just open air up here. We've never figured out exactly how to make an egg hoop work, and so this is one of our attempts trying to get the eggs to fall through, but the chickens kept falling through instead. I joke and call this my rest room because it's where all of the resting things are. I feel like Comfort 18 is not as high as it gets. I feel like it gets a little higher, but I'm not confident enough to say that and be assertive about it. But I think 18 is 25 minutes, so yeah. And then this is processing, the artisan room, quote unquote. And then this is our storage room. Just iron. We did not get all the way to full black iron stuff, and I ran out of some things as I was trying to build. Yeah, crafting. And then we have the forge pit. I liked this open blacksmith area quite a bit. Those are, yeah, all the... And then this is the cooking area. I liked the semi-balanced storage system. Yeah, we were in the Black Forest, not Black Forest, the Mistlands solidly on this world. Thought I had a boar farm in this area, but I guess I don't. I guess it's in the other portal. Shroomies is our Mistland base. Wheaties is our wheat farm. mostly bare bones for the Mistlands base. We just needed a place to grow our shroomies. And we have, if you're struggling to kill rabbits in the Mistlands, if you just place the wood spikes around, they'll run into the wood spikes and die, which is tragic, but also very convenient. So yeah, not much of a base per se, but it gets the job done. The Wheaties base is a little more fleshed out. If you want to go through the portal, please. I say a little bit. It is a little bit more fleshed out. Because we have flax up top and then wheat on the bottom. And then we have various tame locks wandering around with as repulsively punny names as we could come up with. I don't think those ones are ours, but I'm gonna go check. Yep. Okay. Oh, they sought me out, huh? Huh? You want to go, punk? It's raining, so let's... I like the fact that Seeker Broods will come out, too. It makes it easier to get Royal Jelly. Please don't kill Moxie. Please don't kill Moxie. Please. Moxie, could you please just run away? Why are you targeting her? Pretty impressed at the Deathsquito's survivability against the Seekers, but I guess elevation is a thing. Okay, Moxie, you stay over there, okay? Okay, a little stressful. We almost lost our friend, or maybe did lose our friend. Nope, okay, Moxie is technically still alive. Whew. Okay, gonna pick some cloudberries for her at least. It's hard to heal pets, as I remember, but hey now, hey now, hey now, Moxie. Moxie, not your fight. Not your fight, Moxie. Hey, okay, never mind. Good to know. Good to know feeding will heal them. Because Moxie loves me, and I love Moxie. We have Loxie over here. Okay, anyway. Glad that that was not a tragedy. We have at least a couple other. We have Soxy somewhere. Woxy. Anything that rhymes or that could reasonably end in a Y sound, it was considered as a name. For our locks. Dang. Okay. What have I got? Bye. And then this was the first base I built. This was before my sister started playing with me on this world. And so this one's a lot less fleshed out. This was the portal room. Little cooking awning out here. Mud room. restroom. Yeah. This is all the storage and crafting. And then out back we had the forge. And I still have a good amount of resources here if I ever need to pillage. But yeah. Like, again, this is a fun one. I built this little stargazing area. It's obviously a lot nicer when there are stars out and it is not raining, but... Oh, and then the boar pen is over here, and the farm is a little farther. Only 1 star is on this world, but I never ran out of meat. It was never an issue. And then this is the farm. I go overboard when it comes to farming, especially. So I usually end up just leaving stuff in the ground if I ever need. Especially because food gets outclassed so quickly. There's no need to keep picking every time. This was, and then Major Tom coming home. This is the first base that I built on this world, the Meadows base that I still have just because it was quaint and pleasant. Just little house. This was the forge area that I scavenged for the big move. This was where I kept my boars. I did actually harpoon 1-star boars from here all the way over, and then the ones that I had over there all died because a grayling spawned in the pen because I hadn't placed workbenches, killed them all, and I still had I believe 3 boars over here, so I bred a couple here and then did the whole thing over again, which was a pain. But I just like the way this little farm looks. But yeah, we never beat the queen on this world, but we did everything else up to that point. And then this last one is still technically a work in progress. We were playing on this world earlier this year, and then we had to move, and after, in the process of moving, we stopped playing nearly as much, and then just stopped altogether for a time because it was the Ashlands. The Ashlands suck. It's really hard. I think party time is party time. Go through here. The last world's a bit of a work in progress. We have one big base that was our main base for main base for pre Ashlands. It's where it was our launch point for most of our Mistland stuff. But yeah, this was not shortly after. This was a while after, but after I had read One Piece all the way through and was really a big fan of. I'm still a big fan of One Piece. Let's be very clear about that. But when I was more fixated on it, my friend was watching it at the time. I was doing a rewatch at the time, and so most of the portal names are One Piece references as well. So we had a fairly nice looking base out here, and then my brother, who was the main designer and architect for this one, didn't like it, and so he scrapped a lot of it. And then in the mid process of scrapping, it was when we started moving. So you can see the big frame there that he was working on, but like the concept is really good, and the things that he has done are phenomenal. This is our kitchen. I love the checkered floor. We have an abundance of things. We had to build these extra black metal chests because we were running out of storage space, especially for the berries. 4 stone ovens. this storage is still kind of a mess. We have far more empty chests than filled ones that are actively in use. Been trying to think of what we need to put in. I thought I heard a falling, sorry. But then you can see on the map that it's kind of like this paw print style chain of islands, and so we have we have a plan kind of for this island. I think this was going to be our farm, and then that is our Asksvin and chicken coop. I had to go through and slaughter most of them because they're so big, and I did not account for that when thinking about this space and how it's going to be used. And so I killed most of them and have not been feeding them because they simply breed too quickly if you feed them. As you can see, they have managed to clip into this corner. So, and we have an abundance of hide and meat at this point, so it's not like we need more stuff from them. But it goes underneath as well, and potentially we're going to try to dig under too. I don't know if it would support that properly, because the ground in Valheim is a little weird. Yeah, it's a little, the transition is a little screwy, so just, we don't focus on that part as much. But we have our crafting stuff. We have the spiral staircase, the bottom of which is currently under construction, and so it's easier to go around. But crafting table, artisan table, Galder table, and then one forge, and then the actual factual black forge is up here. Again, we had a lot of things that we were doing here, but then most of it got scrapped. This is where our shield generator was before the back was unprotected, and we needed to make sure that it was protected. Yeah, this is still work in progress. My sister is excited to play again. My brother is a little like, I'd rather wait till the Deep North update comes out. So we'll see if we can get him on board. I hope the audio is stable. OBS looks like it's chugging a little bit in terms of tracking my audio, but I can't necessarily casually tell what you guys are hearing. So if it sounds really bad, let me know. Otherwise, hopefully it's okay. This is not pretty, but it's our little grape orchard, fine berry clusters. Okay. So the pre-base was through here, Skypea. The other portal we have is called Jaya. But this was our smelting area. Don't know what the chicken's doing up here. Let's see. The chicken coop was supposed to be down here. And so my sister named the chickens mostly. Not all of them, but some of them, and then Mochi wanders around. This was our main storage and crafting area. We did loot everything and transport over. This is the farm. I have my seeds here, and then my farming outfit was here in its entirety. I don't know where it's gone. We have our walls around the base. I think, I don't know if yeah, tree bowling is over here. Pro strat, if you need a lot of wood, make sure you gather all your, come on, we can make this jump. Yeah. Gather all your seeds, and then if you plant trees down a hill, you can chop the trees at the top of the hill, and then they'll roll down and knock down all the other trees, and it's very fun and very hard on your computer if you don't have good hardware. So make sure you use discretion, but it's a good time. Okay. this side, this was our portal room. I built this one, and I was moderately pleased with it. That was another one of those chicken coop attempts. But it was, each of these had a portal in front of it. I still have a couple set up. And then more storage, I think. Boar pen. These ones are 2 stars, because we got lucky on this world. This was the main room. Beds, cooking, whatever. And then that was where our cart would be put. Yeah, there's one bit I didn't show you at the previous house. We'll go the long way. Because this is our portal chamber at our main base. Which is going to have one main entrance, which is this side passage to the kitchen. This is our distillery and mead storage area. I keep hearing that fulling, so I'm just going to do another little sweep, because this is our smelting and processing ground. We were going to do a couple of more ambitious things, but again, a lot of things hit a wall once we were trying to simultaneously build this house and explore the Ashlands. Yeah. So then my brother, once upon a time, was building his own base with blackjack and hookers, as we say. And honestly, it's really cool. We keep it around because it's a portal to the clothes merchant and quest lady. But yeah, just very straightforward, very defensible, because it's on the border of the plains. He had all this smelting stuff. And then he hybridized his farm and animal pen. And so he's the only one who managed to tame wolves. Not that it was the most useful, but this is where he would grow stuff, and then all the wolves are hanging out here in a pile for some reason. There might be some monster up there that they were trying to go after. But yeah. We have one tiny base. That was just the, like, standing stones puzzle, or base, I think. And then Goa is where I was farming barley, because Goa, Windmill Village. Trying to remember where the right portal is. I think it's Homies. This is our quote-unquote Mistlands base. There was a Verger tower here, and then we just for whatever reason, the mist shifted all the way up to the plains here, so this whole area is just pretty scot-free in terms of mist visibility. So it's a pretty nice little respite. We haven't done any decorating in here per se, but yeah. We have our Yggdrasil roots up and down this route here. And I don't remember if we have any other houses. I'm pretty sure that's Jaya. Yeah, tree bowling. And the sand and stones are just right here. So, yeah. I can show you the current work we've done on an Ashlands base. But disclaimer, it is not great, and it is constantly under attack, and it is still in its preliminary stages, to say the least. It's not fun to be here, is the short answer. This is our bunker. I'm just going to top up my food before I step outside. We have a couple of tamed asks in here, and these are going to be the stables. Stevette, and I think we have a Steve somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, we landed. Our boat's right over there. We landed, and then we just built this little base behind this rock, and then built the walls as quickly as we could. But when yeah, not kidding when I said constantly under attack. Honestly, I guess he got through here. Oh. Oh, you're a 1-star? You're a 1-star? Man. Don't know why my trinket keeps unequipping. Because I'm certainly going to want to have that. Okay. We're going to retreat real quick. Drink some mead. We have stone cutting tables placed strategically to be able to repair as much as we can, as often as we need to. It looks like our shield ran out. Can I make this jump? I think I can make that jump. Let's go around. Yeah. If you have not played in the Ashlands, it's miserable because everything's on fire and everything wants to kill you. We want the vulture stuff. Some wood. And there's just enemies spawn so much in this biome. It's aggravating. Like, there's no down. So I had this so you can jump through, since most enemies won't jump. You jump through and then go up to the top and start shooting them if you need. My sister and I both have ice rods, usually balancing your stamina usage. Because in case you need to get a little closer, but you can burst one person down and then let your stamina and item regen, and then keep going. Anyway, so we cleared a lot of this area too, mostly by accident, partially by like Morgan attacks and the exploding blobs. We don't need base stone. But yeah, this is we've explored all of this, and that's it. We found a single Leviathan and have very little fly metal. I think enough to make. No, that's still carapace stuff. Yeah. This one, we tried a different thing where you can just run through. You don't need to jump, because sometimes when you are running away, you don't have stamina at the end. And so if you don't have stamina, you run to that side. If you do have stamina, you jump through. Anyway, I'm going to leave here so that enemies don't keep functioning since it's darkening to nighttime. But yeah, those are the main bases that I've built. I'm excited. There are a lot of cool looking build pieces for the Deep North. From the things that they've teased, at least. And again, I'm hopeful. I feel like I read somewhere that they were shooting for early next year to be the launch for Deep North. I wasn't able to casually find that when I was clicking around on the news page, but that's what I remember, and that's what I'm hoping for. Kitchen is over here. Nope. Need those. Trying to remember where everything goes is a nightmare. Rouston. Feathers. Feathers up here. Oh, I guess royal jelly is a food, isn't it? No. Need those. Fiddleheads, royal jelly. Okay. One of the things that was added since last I played was the bears and the upgraded bears in the plains. Unfortunately, the only plains I have easy access to are down here. I guess I could run over there, but I think I'm just going to do what I've been doing. Because we are really low on black metal. You can see I have one black metal pickaxe and one iron pickaxe still. We've been using... Nope, that's not where we needed to go. It's fine. So what I've been doing is just trying to mine black metal stuff. Or I said words. Killing fullings to get black metal. And the homies portal is down here, and that's where we need to go. So should be good. There are bears in the Black Forest now, but also I don't know what they're called, viles, I think, V-I-L-E-S, that are like undead bears that live in the plains, presumably next to tar pits. That would be my bet, at least. And so it might be worthwhile to make that run over there or try to get back up to there. Hey, bud. Getting a good angle with the frost staff is also pretty helpful on the slopes in the Mistlands. So getting magic early is pretty good. I like the fireball staff a lot, but it just takes a lot more iter than I usually have, conveniently. So we're just going to run around here for a bit. Try to kill a bunch of pullings, try to kill vials if they show up. And having the plains right next to Mistlands is great, because the Deathsquitos will hunt down rabbits for you, and the Deathsquitos are much faster than rabbits. So you can often just go around and find rabbit parts all over the borders of the plains. Yeah, if we can't find one of the vials tonight, then I will go build a portal over here, because I don't think I have one left Because I mined out those tar pits. I don't think I left the portal there. I think it got repurposed for something else, but always take another look. And that looks like a lox, but nope, that might be. Definitely doesn't look like a lox. Yeah. Except now we have all the locks on us. I don't like killing locks if I can help it, because usually we don't need the meat anymore, and they're really good, like, defenders of biomes, because they're tanky. Sucks to get wet. Did not mean to get that far into the swamp. Okay, let's back out of here real quick, because this is not pleasant. Okay. Rip. We might just die again. You know, the whole relearning how to play. Disarm enough to run a little faster. Nope. Well. I default to using axes and hammers because they're multifunctional, kind of. Hammers, technically, they're just good for hammering things, but having an axe to be able to chop down trees wherever you go is really nice. Yeah, this certainly did not go as I expected it to. They should be able to break... Nope, they can go over. Don't want to be using my carapace arrows, thank you very much. Cool, and maybe the skeletons will attack the locks and give me a sec. Yeah, you're not gonna let me walk up this route? Okay. Hopefully this is enough distance and time to be able to take it out. At least they're not motivated to attack our extractors. That's a big help. Okay, if you're gonna hang out down there, I think we're Gucci. Go fight some Seekers. Chill out, relax. Let's go see if that vial is still there. No, daytime. Rip. Okay. Well, we know that they can spawn without a tar pit nearby. So that's something. I mean, 7 black metal isn't the worst. Okay. I really wish there was a way to permanently get rid of the mist. Not just by placing the stupid lanterns that don't do anything, but like just dispel the mist for an area. Just because it is kind of difficult to navigate at times. But, you know. Yeah. Cool. Not gonna run that back right now. I personally prefer not having metal transportable through portals. I live for the grind personally. I'm not going to judge anyone who wants to make playing this game as easy as possible for themselves. Like, it's to each their own. I like the grind. I like the difficulty. Like, I enjoy that. But it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea. So I do keep hearing something attacking. And usually we have a bunch of gray dwarves that just live on this island. And sometimes fullings spawn. Just hate hearing people at my base. And especially not knowing where they are. Especially because that makes the asks of it get angry and they will attack the walls and try to break out. And we can't have that. Anyway. Okay. We're honestly somewhat low on resources at this base. We have very little copper and we have a lot of iron, but everything else is a little bit tight. So I don't want to just casually make another boat, but also kind of just want to casually make another boat. I don't know where. Maybe I left a portal here at the dock. I thought I had a portal over here, but I might have dismantled it when we were redoing our portal room. So I guess maybe we will just run over there. I don't know exactly what you can make out of bear stuff, but I am going to kill as many bears as I can. Presumably, the things you can make out of bear stuff will be Black Forest quality. So I'm not expecting anything magical per se, metaphorically magical rather than literally magical. But I am curious. As I mentioned earlier, I originally started playing this game when it first hit early access in 2011. No, 2021 words. And I've come back for most major updates. I think I didn't come back fully for the Ashlands when it first happened, but there were a couple of other updates in between, and then I got the bug to play again. Yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel's homepage, there's the video that starts auto playing that I personally hate, but I prefer having something there because apparently it's helpful. But the default video that starts playing is like the introduction to my love of video games video, and Valheim is one of the games that is featured prominently there because it's, in my opinion, it's one of the best survival crafting games out there. It does a lot of things well, and especially it does combat really well. But like my favorite thing is that you don't need to do anything to keep your character alive except stay out of danger. I hate Raft is one of the hardest survival games for me to play. Maybe only Don't Starve is harder, because so much of both games is just trying not to die that making progress is a lot harder to do. In this game, staying alive is skill-based rather than survival-based, gameplay-based. You only die if you are an idiot like me and jump off a building without food, or if you're fighting something. And anything that there is a portal over there, darn it. Anything you're fighting, if you're practiced enough and patient enough, you can generally get away with not taking damage if you understand how to use combat effectively. This is Thousand Sunny. Okay. So I love that this game is much more friendly in the survival element than it is, or than many other survival crafting games are. Let's see. I played a lot of Don't Starve back in the day. Like, I think I was still in high school when it came out, and it's fun. It's definitely something, but I died too much and too quickly to really understand how to play the game. My brother is super into Don't Starve and loves to spin up a world on a whim. Similarly to how I am with this game. This is okay. Good to know. This is my Windmill Village portal. It's been a while since I played on this world, and so my mental map is a little weak. Okay. I never got into Minecraft. I bounced off of Minecraft a lot, and I played. I think I used creative mode, ? To fight the Ender Dragon at least once, and that was fun. But I have not played since like 2018. Because because I'm not saying Minecraft is a bad game by any stretch. It's certainly not. It's remarkable how good Minecraft is, but it's just not my cup of tea. It's too creative, and the creativity is very loose. I like that there are set pieces that you build with in this game. It makes it a lot easier for me to think, oh look, I wonder what I could build with this arch, or what designs could I make with this kind of structure, or like you can take these things and play around with them however you want. The restriction itself provides a framework that makes it easier for me to have fun building things. Subnautica has some of the most fun base building because it does a lot of the heavy work of designing things for you. You just have to put the pieces together and it will make it look nicer. Big fan of Subnautica. It's good. I'm marking the copper because, as mentioned, we're lowest on copper, and I haven't wanted to do any kind of copper run recently, but having the markers is good for the future if we do ever decide to do copper runs. I can't think of many other survival crafting games that I've played extensively. Shame to lose the blueberry bush, but whatever. My dad played Grounded for a while, and I think there are things that I would like about Grounded, but every time I've tried to play Grounded, it has not worked on Steam to play co-op. And my dad on Steam was not able to have any save files for a while. It just wouldn't keep the saves for some reason. But like Grounded looks good, and I like the idea of more specifically class-based combat, having like armor and abilities. I think there are abilities. I have not played it extensively. Just gonna pull up Steam real quick to look for more survival games, because I feel like I've played a lot, but again, just off the cuff, can't seem to remember any of them. Here we are. It is getting to be sunset, so maybe I'll just park until nighttime actually happens. Oh, Ark. Oh man, I tried to play Ark on aforementioned dinky college laptop, and it did not work. Did not work very well. Let's see. Void Train was one that I was really excited for. That was kind of a flop. Just not when it launched into early access, it was not very good. No disrespect to the people who make it. It just wasn't very fun. My siblings really like Necess, and they also really like Core Keeper. I didn't get into either of them very well. My friend Forrest really likes The Forest. And we played that for a bit, but it was a little bit scary for me. Rust is a game I've never wanted to touch. No Man's Sky, I have tried to play No Man's Sky a lot. I have a VR headset and I like playing VR, and it's pretty cool to be in a spaceship in VR in No Man's Sky. But like, there's it's so not guided and so ambiguous in the I don't know. Chords are hard. So the end game of No Man's Sky, it feels like the end game starts really quickly in terms of what you're able to go and do at any given point. The layers of content have been added pervasive throughout that very, very extensive quote unquote end game of No Man's Sky. And so I just have always gotten horribly overwhelmed whenever I have tried to pick it up. And I've never managed to make multiplayer work in a satisfying way. Oh man, let's not make the same mistake twice. Let's have our food real quick before we try to fight off the tar. We're always low on tar, and so getting some more would be nice. I don't need a growth trophy. Yeah, I don't know. I like games that don't make me stressed to play. And most survival games are like, no, I constantly need to take care of my character in game, or my character is going to die. And that's the name of the game. It's a survival game. That's how it's supposed to be. I just don't vibe with that very well. I'm a big fan of combat in games, and like the problem is that I don't really like beat 'em ups, action RPGs as they were, like games like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta that are like combo based and chain based and big numbers because you're hitting a lot of buttons really fast. I've never really grokked that kind of gameplay. Hi-Fi Rush, I like Hi-Fi Rush. I've never finished it, partially because I just memorizing all sorts of attack chains is hard enough in an RPG where I'm like leveling up and rewarded for getting better at combat. It's not Sunset. I was deceived. And like Final Fantasy 16, is a game I've been playing a lot recently, and it's very actiony, in that vein of chains and combos and whatever. But it's also one button pretty much. There are a couple of other prompts, but it's pretty much you just mash the left button a lot. And that's about as cerebral as I can engage with comfortably in action games. And so Valheim, you have one button for blocking and one button for attacking, and then some weapons have a special attack that you can do. And that's it. And then everything else is just stamina management. And so yeah, you can crouch and you can roll and you can run and you can jump, but that's the tweet, as they say. And so it all becomes a matter of how well you can remember how the enemies choose to attack, how well their pathing functions, how what their attack range can be. Like the Loxes, you have to be very cautious because their bite attack comes out really quick. But if you can step to the side quickly enough, then you're pretty safe. Bullings, they will run around before they run up to attack you. Then I like Frostner because it freezes them, and when they're slowed down, they're very easy to kill. So the more like intentional Souls-like combat of Valheim is very nice for combat in a survival game. And now it's getting nighttime. Hmm. Okay. As I recall, Christmas is going to be on a Thursday. I don't think I'm going to stream on Christmas. Just letting that be known early. I usually stream Tears of the Kingdom Thursdays, but I think I'll just take the day off. Maybe I'll stream on Saturday instead. We'll see. I've been looking for a game to consistently play on Mondays. If there's anything that people are interested in seeing, I'm open to suggestions. There haven't been too many games that have come out recently that I've wanted to sit down and play on stream, per se. And so most Mondays, it's just whatever I want to play at the moment, which is fun in its own right, but sometimes I'm just depressed and don't want to play anything. And so... my friend, Michael, he's the mod Dalinar's Blade on this channel. He's been... If you've watched the recent Monday streams, he has been a guest repeatedly. And when Season 6 of Deep Rock Galactic drops next year, we're definitely going to be playing some of that. The problem, I live in Eastern time zone in the United States, and my family lives in, I believe, Mountain Time. I think it used to be Mountain Standard Time, but now it's just Mountain Time. And so they're 2 hours behind me, and they all work afternoon to evenings. So there are a bunch of games that I would love to play with them on stream that Monday would be a great day for, but they all work, usually until like 11 o'clock my time, and that is simply too late. Hey, target acquired. Before we engage, we're going to sit and let our stamina regenerate all the way. I'm just happy we found it before our rest had ended. Okay, that does actually hurt. Cool. Now we just gotta find room for the drops. I don't need more rabbit meat for sure. Vilebone drapes sound cool. Is there anything else here? Might have just been those. But yeah, there are a couple of co-op games that I think would be fun to play. Co-op or PvP. Like, if you've ever played Towerfall, or if you've never played, if you've heard of Towerfall, it's truly peak couch co-op, or couch competitive gaming. You're archers and you shoot each other, and you have like 3 buttons. You have a dash button, you have a jump button, and the option to crouch as well. And it's fast-paced. Rounds usually last all of 30 seconds. And it's very fun. Big fan. And my my friends are funny enough that it would be enjoyable to play with them and stream Towerfall. But aforementioned work scheduling issues. My friend Michael is looking for new work, and so might have a new schedule soon, but Rotten meat, is that something? No, that's just a drop that is known. Are the vile curtains placeable? I would think they might be with the dark wood. If so, because tar. Let's see him. I mean, it would also be fun to just play Valheim. Whenever, if we manage to fight the Ashlands boss, then I'd probably stream that for sure. I was pleasantly surprised by how many views the short guide on how to fight the queen got, because it was I'm very critical of the stuff that I make, which is one of the reasons I don't make as much as I used to. But I did not think too highly of it. But it was informative, and it ideally accomplished the objective of helping people fight the queen. I should not have my hammer as my active item when running around the plains at night. We're running out of rested, so maybe we'll go back. Base organizing is not the most interesting activity to pursue on stream, so that's something I'll do later. But maybe I will. I'm trying to decide, because I don't want to step on my brother's toes in terms of base building, but there are some things that might be nice. The other thing is that I'm pretty sure we don't have enough black chores to have both an ITER refinery and a and the black furnace at the same time. And so I might go see if I can find another abandoned mine shaft or something. The issue is obviously timing. 6 black metal. I don't know if that's worth holding on to. I both like and dislike the way that your character scales primarily with just gear, because you know when you're decked out in deer leather and wandering through the Black Forest for the first time, having a whole horde of Grey Dwarfs spawn on you is nightmare fuel. It's awful. You are running for your life at that point. It's a little, I don't know, disappointing at this point. Now it's like, oh, they're just gonna follow me and harass me until I either kill them or lose aggro, but losing aggro takes forever. And so it's it's cool because it's always nice to go back and just stomp on things that used to mess you up, right? It's one of the best parts of any action RPG. Walking back through the undead burg and just gently blowing on the skeletons that used to kill you in 3 shots or 3 hits. It's satisfying, but it's also like, I don't know. In Dark Souls, it's because you can level up, you can increase your stats as well as upgrade your gear. So I don't know. And in that same vein, like, even just 1 tier of armor is huge. Being, again, I'm still on carapace armor, fully upgraded, but still just carapace armor, and I'm getting absolutely bodied anywhere I go in the Ashlands. It is constantly life or death in the Ashlands. And it's like, yes, that does guarantee that you'll consistently have challenges that you're encountering in the game, and that's good in one sense, but in another sense it's somewhat lazy design, if not fully bad design, to make difficulty a matter of only numbers rather than like encounters, for lack of a better term. And like with the Ashlands, they wanted it to be a kind of invasion feel. No, it is an honest deck. They wanted to make it hard, like you are assaulting the Ashlands. They live there, they own the place, and you're the one who is the foreign invader at this point. And they accomplish the concept because, you know, it definitely feels like I'm banging my head against a wall every time I encounter enemies in the Ashlands. So it's, if there were things that could help bridge the gap between biomes, like kind of you have mead, like especially the poison resist mead that helps you get through the swamp. It is the leg up that you need to survive when you get poison resist stuff that lets you not die immediately to blobs, or more accurately die a slow and miserable death to blobs in crypts. I don't know where I put my other bear paws. I might have just been holding on to them, but I don't think so. We do have nails. Nice. Okay. No, we have black cores. So am I just dumb? What does it take to make an Ida refinery? It is black cores. So what happened? We needed, what, 10 black marble? 20. My big fear is that the Deep North is going to be just as much a pain in a different direction. Where instead of everything being on fire, things are just going to freeze and you won't be able to do anything about it. Where are our needles? They were in a chest around here somewhere. I'm just going to stick them in here. The fear is that everything will freeze and that you'll need to do a bunch of unnecessarily complicated things to survive in the deep north until you build a base that has a fire source that surpasses what normal fire. I don't know, because if it's not just, if you aren't going to be able to survive with normal heating, I really don't know what they're trying to do. Because it just, when survival crosses the threshold into tedium, that's where it stops being fun. And so there are times where Valheim is tedious more than fun. And I'm saying that as someone who, again, likes to sail iron back to my base and likes to deal with the difficulties of not being able to transport everything through a portal and whatever. That, I enjoy that, and I still think Valheim gets tedious at times. So it's, yeah, I'm curious to see, because I mean, if anyone remembers, I think it still does, the frickin' the ballistas that you can build as base defense from the Mistlands will shoot you. They don't distinguish between friend and foe. Everything is a foe unless you give them a specific target. And then if you have to give them a specific target, when there are 3 different kinds of skeletons that will attack you, it's so inefficient to try to build base defensive stuff that you don't bother. There's no point bothering because it's just not going to be enough no matter what you do. And so it's, again, it's complicated. I respect that they want to stick with their guns and that they want to keep their vision alive. And I get frustrated every time I see all the people who are critical of their vision because it's not what they want. There are many, many, many mods out there that will let you play Valheim however you want. A lot of difficulty sliding mods that you can use that I wholeheartedly support. I would be much, much more upset about difficulty in Valheim if they did not allow for mods. And if they were really uptight about what mods are permissible or not. They're not. They're very lax and generous about it. So it's, in my opinion, it's pretty fine. But anyway, everything that they've shown for the Deep North looks pretty cool. The build pieces look cool and interesting. The enemy implications are interesting. I like seals as enemies, as monsters, as friends. Ideally, seals are pretty cool. Oh, fishy. Oh, well, okay, that's fine. I hope this is a sufficient distance from my house. Hopefully it doesn't destroy things. We need a bit more refined iter for stuff. Anyway. TLDR, the Ashlands really suck at times. And I have... It was a big factor in why we just let go of playing Valheim for the time being when we moved. It's raining, and it's really hard to do anything fun while it's raining. Let's put some stuff back. Let's go to a crafting bench real quick to see if the... bear cage is anything. Oh yeah, okay. The bear armor. Very, very low armor quality, but Man, low armor and vulnerability, but increasing to slash and chop. That's quite the payoff. I'm guessing you need the bear trophy to make the bear headpiece, because that, you know, it's kind of how they do it. I wouldn't hate making the magic armor. I prefer having as much protection as I can get, generally speaking, but I would like to get a set of it at the very least. Wildbone drapes. Okay, so it's just upgraded bear armor. Okay. Cool. Worth checking. Had a... Probably just gonna stick them here. Great Orc Eyes. Yeah. I also really like that it doesn't cost any resources to repair things. It would be truly a nightmare if it did cost things to repair. Would not be nearly as viable or relaxing a game. And like being able to choose what you lose on death is also pretty big. Kind of choose what you lose. Obviously world settings are not the most detailed, you can't click everything, but so what can we do for 30 minutes is the question. We could sail, but that's also pretty boring, and I don't have much to vamp about. We've intentionally not gone the north because we wanted to make sure that the deep north spawn could still be fresh. So I could like try sailing over here to find more Mistlands and stuff. We have a bunch of the quest locations that we could do. Obviously, I'm not close to any of them, but I mean, I could be stupid and try to do an Ashlands run. Probably would die, but, you know. Wouldn't be the first time this stream. If we do that, we're gonna go... make sure that we have good stacks of... I was wondering where our pots were. Come on. Good stacks of potions. I think the most rested we can get here is 17. So that's rested. Yeah, well, life's for living. Eat our food here. No, Ash is this one. I don't know if it's the best strategy, but I like having the magic bubble as an option readily available. Oh yeah, that's the worst, is that when you parry these guys, they get knocked away instead of being able to, you have to have teamwork if you want to effectively parry these guys, which is the worst. My other sibling that is not the brother I live with and not my sister, they don't like Valheim very much. They will play for like a day and then get tired of it. We're already so full. And so it's mostly just my sister and I playing, and sometimes my older brother. Okay. Just trying to get a little bit of stamina back. And yeah, we'll drink some health mead. No sense risking it. Yeah, glad I did. Didn't realize this guy was a 1-star. Yeah, because just one of these guys is a threat. And so having a ton of them all up in your business is just a pain. And it makes it so stressful to be here, because you get like a moment to breathe and then suddenly they're all back. We don't really need these, but I like to gather things, and they're here. Getting at least a stack of each is probably nice. Food is not something I have thought about yet in picking up this world again, because you know I like the food system in this game. I like that it's what determines your stats. I think it's great, but it's also slightly limiting and somewhat stressful, because then suddenly you don't want to use your good food when you're just running around doing nothing. But if you don't use good food, then you can die from jumping off a building accidentally. And so I kind of wish that there were things that could just increase your base stats a little bit, so that base building was less life-threatening without using your good food. But, you know. There are a couple of Dvergr encampments that we found, and they're usually good like halfway points to take a break. I usually, because you know, cold is super effective against lava blobs. Surprise, surprise. That's what I usually use my mana on here. I really don't need more wood. I guess I will discard it when I actually have something else to pick up. And because you spend so much time just fighting things, by the time you get anywhere, it's already late in the day. And since you really don't want to be in the Ashlands at night, it's just so frustrating. I didn't bring any bile bombs because I wasn't expecting to need to cross too much lava. Mostly just hoping to do an in and out trip. And also just the what's the word? Heat rising off of everything does make it hard to see. Hard to see clearly, at least. Go. I also think that there's an abundance of starred enemies here. There are more starred enemies than normal, or than in other places. Because I always seem to... It might just be that there are more spawns of enemies in this biome than in other places. And that could be the reason why it feels like there are more, but... yeah. Oh, this is another burger area. Yeah. What was? Oh, was that a trap? Very hard to see, but I think so. Might have accidentally killed these guys or gotten them killed. Don't really need Ask Spin stuff, but... just trying to be a good neighbor. I don't know what I would feed the burger to have them regenerate their health. The Valkyries in this biome are also a big old pain. And they're another reason why I haven't made too much progress yet. This is honestly much tamer than my memory is telling me it should be. This feels much calmer. But it could just be that I haven't spent much time in the biome of late, so the enemies haven't spawned in properly. Okay. Getting the timing down for the parries on the marksman is very important if you want to survive in here. Because if you can parry them, they suddenly become non-issues. Not as much with the warriors, because again, they get knocked back really hard. Let's explore a little tiny bit of the map before we start heading back. We have Ike there that'll... oh, crap. Okay, we're just going to drink this quickly. I've died a lot to Morgan, and so I've had to practice the parry window for them a lot. I actually think I'm gonna back off of trying to do that. I'm gonna wait until I have friends to bring the spawn. So do want vulture meat more than I want wood. Okay, let's use Eichther, and let's just get out of here. Yeah, I mean, not terrible. I need to refamiliarize myself with the path that I've cleared out through the Ashlands anyway, and so it's not useless to have just gone through. Run through and then run back out. I really don't want to get caught here at night. I don't think it's nighttime right now. It just gets dark. It could be. It could just be foolish. I am a friend. Distinctly friend. I am pretty good at this game, the combat specifically, and so I don't normally die very much. I did die twice today, and that has put my stats pretty far down compared to what they were before. You're a 1-star Twitcher. But I usually sit at around 100 run and close to 100 jump. And then most of my other stats are in the like 60s, 70s range, the ones that I use actively. Again, I died, and so losing roughly 10% of your experience is a real kick in the teeth when you're sitting high in levels. Just a Twitcher. The range of classes in this game is a little limited. It'd be cool, again, if there were like base stats you could upgrade or allocate for that would help bolster your particularity in a class rather than just food and armor. I think it'd be cool if each what's the word, Forsaken boss you fought gave you a skill point of some kind that you could then alter your base stats with. But, you know, they don't pay me the big bucks to make the money, so, or make the game, so my opinion doesn't matter in those things. That said, I usually play as the tank / support of my group. My sister likes the claws and daggers and fast weapons, and so she usually wears light armor and rolls around a lot. There they are. And then my brother, I think he defaults to like bow usually. And like maybe I could use the bow less and could focus more on melee things. But I mean, the problem is that when you're alone, you have to do it all. and so I don't usually get as convenient a choice. So that was nighttime. That was all during the night. That's refreshing to know. Refreshing. It's good to know that they probably did tone it back a little bit on how difficult the enemy spawns in the Ashlands are. You still refining? Okay, you're almost done. Technically speaking, it does consistently take slightly less than 20 sap to refine 20 ITER. And so eventually you will save a single ITER in the process, which is frustrating. But yeah, big fan of this game. It would be, I will say that it would be fun to have like a server to play with people on. I'm not in a position to maintain or host or even just tolerate such a server. But it's something that I think would be cool to be able to have enough people interested to have a Valheim server maintained and be able to see what other people build in the world. Yeah, I think we're just going to wrap up a little bit early because there's not much that you can do in 8 minutes of Valheim. The house tour was the first half hour of the stream, so if you are interested in seeing my houses, feel free to rewind the stream, go back to the beginning. If you want to see me die one of the most embarrassing deaths I've ever died. For this week, Tears of the Kingdom will be Thursday, and Armored Core 6 on Friday. I don't currently have any plans for extra streams. There aren't any other major games coming out this year that I can remember. So it should just be Tears of the Kingdom, Armored Core, and then next Monday will be whatever the heck I decide next Monday will be. Hard to make a choice. I've thought about playing Final Fantasy 16 on stream, but I'm like 2/3 solidly into the game, and I can't imagine that people would be interested in seeing a game 2/3 into the story and need to be caught up on for anything to have any kind of significance or relevance at all. So that's a thought. I'm in a similar boat with Clair Obscure Expedition 33. I am midway to most of the way through Act 2. And don't know if people would want to watch that. Just dropped in. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like the video, feel free to subscribe to the channel. If my sister and I start playing, then I hope to be able to stream fighting the Ashlands boss, or maybe even just playing progress, because she'll have time off work for the holidays. And so maybe she would have fun streaming with me. So subscribe if you're interested in seeing that. Otherwise, good luck with this week. It is basically finals week for most people, and if it's not finals week, it is do all the work that your professors generously let you extend over the intended due date. So enjoy the upcoming holidays as much as you can. Again, holidays can be good for some, bad for others, and if they're bad for you, I hope you find good ways to spend your time. Last but not least, thank you, and until next time, bye-bye.